It was on unlisted. So this is public. We're live now. Sorry about the loud music. There's like a team building thing over here on the beach. It'll take me a minute to get past it, but I want to show you Vietnam in the morning. So Vietnam, people always ask me, why is everyone, within 5% of their ideal body weight in Vietnam? And I want to show you why. We're still a little bit in the expat area here, but we're about to get into the Vietnamese area. It's not too far, another few hundred meters. For you Americans out there, 3 American football fields until we get there in front of us. But it's 6:15 in the morning. The sun is rising over here. And you'll see everyone comes to the beach in the morning and they do exercise. And that's why they're in good shape. Here's, I don't know where their ball went. Okay, you'll see here in a minute. See these guys playing. This is like, oh no, they're playing really volleyball. Never mind. I'll show you in a minute. That's just volleyball. Okay, that counts. They're getting great exercise. See this group of guys here? They're using their feet. They're like playing around. They get around in a circle and play soccer for exercise. And so in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, actually it starts around 5 o'clock. I did this is the second take on this. I didn't have it live last time. But see these men over here, ranging from probably, I would guess around 40 to 65. A couple of them are older. And they notice they're playing volleyball with their feet and their heads. And so they're combining 2 of their talents, soccer and their ability to put the ball where they want it. Pretty fascinating, huh? And then also, oh good, there's a few left. I came out early because I wanted to show you this. See this woman in the sand and all these sand things here? In the morning, people come out and they bury themselves in the sand and they meditate, get in touch with the earth. They run, they do aerobics. They start their morning paying attention to their body. They swim. I'll show you in a minute where they're all swimming. They swim off the coast, some for a half hour, 60 minutes. It's a culture that's very into staying healthy. And some of these people you see are vacationers from other parts of Vietnam or Korea, China. And they're here doing their Instagram photos. And some of them are just local women that are single and they're trying to make their dating profile look a little better. But most of the people out here you'll see are doing something. There goes an ambulance on the street. So now we're starting to get into the Vietnamese area. And it's all mixed and stuff, but it's just I find closer to the city center, you find more of the Vietnamese doing their morning routine. And they do this 6-7 days a week. If you come out, I run in the mornings. I usually come out here around 5:30 to 6:15, somewhere in there. And I come run for 20 to 30 minutes up and down the beach. And I've been watching all this for now. I first came to Vietnam in 2014. So it's been years now. I've been doing this and watching them, and I find it fascinating. You can't see, but this area here it's roped off. I don't know if you can see it or not. And these people they do their exercise and then they go out and wash the sand off their body in the ocean. Then they go home and go about their day. A lot of stretching, yoga, calisthenics, running. The water's coming up. And these holes you see are people that have already left for the day. A lot of them were here when I did the first take on this, but I didn't have live on, I had unlisted, so you guys didn't know. And so it's about 50% of the people when the first take on this. But you can't see, but out on the horizon here, people are swimming up and down along the coast. And they do that in the morning. Swimming is, of course, a great way to get your heart rate up and get your muscles toned at the same time without all the pounding of running. Of course, running on a beach is safer for you than running on concrete. That's why I run on the beach when I'm in Vietnam or whatever country has a beach. But see that guy up there? He's probably too far away, but he has these white, I'll call them like big 2-liter. Oh, here's one right here. See this? He's a swimmer. I don't know if they require it but a lot of these guys carry these 2 white buoys, maybe. Yeah, there's only about half the people out here there was on the first take. Here's another swimmer here with a bigger one. But, so there's 2 reasons that Vietnam is, within 5% of their ideal body weight. One is they get up in the morning and they exercise, or they go to the gym, or they go to aerobics classes or jazzercise. Of course, they have different names for all of it, but you'll see them in groups doing this stuff that looks just like some parts of the rest of the world. But the beach is what's so unusual about it. They all come here and socialize and work out in the morning. Here they're playing badminton, this group of 4. No net even, they just, look how much fun they're having. It's not just exercise, they're socializing and having fun. So I can't go over there. There's a river that runs through today. It's not always there. Sometimes you can walk through. But you can get the feel for, just multiply this by 2 and you'll have what it is at say 5:40 in the morning. That's how many people are out here. It's maybe 3 times as much as this. And so the first part is they take care of their body. And you'll see parents out with kids before school. They take them out here and they teach them how to exercise. So the parents are teaching kids the value of exercise and keeping a nice body for your health. For every pound of fat you have, I read once it's 7 miles of capillaries that your heart has to pump around. I don't know if that's true or not, just come from memory. Someone can correct me on here if they want. And so if you're within 5% of your ideal body weight, your heart's not working as hard, it might last longer. And the other part of it is the food. The Vietnamese dishes are appropriately sized so that you eat enough to break your fast for breakfast and to sustain you till lunch, and you eat enough at lunch to sustain you till dinner. And then the size of the meals is not so large like you see in the US, for example. Europe's a little better than the US. Plates are more appropriately sized. But in the US, we have very large plates and we put a lot of food on them. And we generally only buy food we really want. And so we just eat until it's gone. And so they don't do that here. They eat the appropriate amount. So it's exercise and it's eating the appropriate amount for your body size to be able to maintain your weight. Here you have an older couple. See how he's rubbing sand on her back? He's exfoliating her. So it's sort of, it's honoring your relationship and your body at the same time. You're out here in touch with the earth. So it's a very, it's just, and part of it is because the sun rises in the east, of course, right? So in the morning, you can do this. If Vietnam had a west coast, which it does, I've been to that too. It's on Phu Quoc, for example, and some of the southern parts of Vietnam, where the sun sets, which is beautiful, by the way. You'll see them out in the evening. So if you watch the locals wherever you are in the world, you'll see what the routine is. We're getting back to the expat area now. That tall building with it looks like a phoenix on top. That's kind of After that, and if you go forward, it's pretty much all expats after that. Well, not really. It's half-half then. It's 100% local behind me. In front of me, it's probably, at this time of day, it's 50-50 foreigners here on vacation or living here or retired here. At the other 50% locals that live in that area. The rents are a little higher there because they can get it. People come over here with pounds, dollars, and euros. And you know, whether they pay $260 a month or $500 doesn't really affect their life much. And so people tend to pay more than they would if they go into a Vietnamese neighborhood, which are totally safe. And so those are the two things: it's food and it's exercise and spending time on your body. Oh, let's go back and see it. You can see a nice rally here. These guys playing volley soccer or volley football. I guess soccer is just an American word. See that? I've counted like 30 before where they're 30. Oh, it's out. That one's too far. Oh, here you have the expat guy playing with the locals in the circle. Here you have more volley football. It's kind of amazing, really, how good they are. They don't. I mean, if I were in there playing with them, I'd kick it too hard. They have very good control, which comes from years of practice, right? And I haven't been a soccer player, so that's why I suck. But now the other thing I want to talk about is like the siesta lifestyle. If you've been in Mexico or Spain or different parts of the world, people come out in the morning and they might enjoy from 5 o'clock in the morning until 10, 11, 12, because that's when before it gets hot. That's common here. And then they go indoors. They hide away from the hottest part of the day. And then they go indoors. And then they wait till, they stick their hand out the window, and when it's comfortable again, they go back out. And so that's siesta. And often in the middle of the day, you have a lunch, you have a nap. So you might not only go to bed, you might go to bed at 11 or even midnight, and you only sleep till 4 in the morning, or 5, whatever. Get your most of your sleep, but then you go have a nice lunch, go back and sleep for a couple hours in the middle of the day. Wow, talk about luxury. And often businesses are like that, certainly in Spain, where a business might close between, 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Here you don't see the businesses closing, but people do. They do leave the beach, and they do. Looks like the water's going to get me. Oh, no, didn't do it. They do leave they get out of the sun, let's put it that way. They stay in the shade. Instagram. And so siesta is the other part of it, it's so if you watch the locals, you'll figure out whatever country you're in, like, what are the best restaurants? You go find locals where the locals are in line somewhere, and then you want to eat whatever the best-selling meal is then at that restaurant. Where are the locals lined up? Are all the tables full and there's 1 or 2 people waiting to sit down? A lot of Grab drivers come in and bring in food, or Uber. If you're in an Uber country, those are taxis that you use an app to bring to you. They have Grab here. That's the Uber of Southeast Asia. So you can order online. And so when you're at a restaurant, you're waiting for a table, you'll see these Uber drivers come in, or Grab, come in and pick up meals for people. And you're talking, a restaurant that you might pay a local restaurant now. I'm not talking a Western restaurant. I'm not talking an expat restaurant, but a local restaurant, which is my favorite food in Vietnam, certainly. There's great expat food here in Da Nang too, no doubt about it. But I favor the local just because it has so much greens, it's so healthy. Not only are the portion sizes right, but everything has greens in it here. And so you're eating a great fiber, great cross section of nutrition in these local restaurants. So a meal will be like $1.25 or $1.40, $1.50 in a local restaurant. You'll have to pay a little more for it to have delivered, to grab. But getting back to my point, if you look for the place where the seats are all full, at lunch or dinner or breakfast or whatever, that's where you want to walk in and maybe type into Google, what's your best selling, or serve me your best selling meal, or serve me your meal that most locals eat when they come here. And sometimes they'll pick up a menu and point at it, and you just shake your head yes, and they'll bring it to you, and try it out. The #1 selling meal at that restaurant. And then keep track of those ones you love. And when you go to other places, try them. And that works all over the world. Look for where the locals are eating. They know good food when they taste it. So, and you probably are going, hey, Dan said some of this stuff before, but I like to repeat stuff because somehow when we land in a country, we want to go back to our old habits. Like, oh, where's the McDonald's, or where's the pizza, where's the pasta, and that's great. You can do that a few times a week, but because we all miss home food, whatever your home food is. But you also have to really get to know the local food, because that's where the ingredients are fresher. That's where they don't have to import things, or they're grown locally, and that's where the dishes have really developed over centuries, and the flavors are the most refined. Where if you go into an expat restaurant, they don't always nail your home food. It might be called spaghetti, but it won't have the right sauce on it or whatever. Now, Da Nang's a little bit of an exception. I would call it a soft landing. A soft landing means it's easy, a place overseas that's easy to live in. I would put Da Nang in that list because they have great Mexican food here. They have like great eggs Benedict. They have steak. And I mean, like there's a couple here, they own a few restaurants. Miss Steak, like not Mrs., but Miss Steak. They may have a steakhouse. They have the Bikini Bottoms is called. Great food there. And then there's another restaurant I really like. It's called Adobo. It's a Mexican restaurant. Here you can see the sun's up over the clouds now. It's probably maybe 6:45 in the morning now. So a lot of these people they've got to go home and get ready for work today. And so they come out and get their exercise and then head home. So you have great local food here. Vietnamese food is very healthy. It's priced right, which it needs to be, because, Vietnam has really, really rich people, just like, every country does. But they also need food for people that are, making the, typical wages, which is not unusual for someone to, make $300 a month. And so they have to eat on that. They have to pay their rent. And so that's why is it so cheap there? Like, how can you get, it's because the wage is so low. And so, but if you want to live a Western lifestyle here, you're not going to live on $300. You're going to spend $1,000 on it. Actually, for a real Western lifestyle, where you're eating maybe 2 meals a day in expat restaurants and living in a 2-bedroom with a view, you're probably starting around $2,000 to $3,000 a month. But we often, we meet expats here all the time that are at $1,500 or less. There's some below $1,000 even. But don't expect you can go anywhere and live for what someone else can. You have to do your exploratory visit, see what you want to rent, what restaurants you want to eat in, how much alcohol you're going to drink, what entertainment you're going to take, and add it all up. But there's a huge range because the wage is lower here compared to Western countries. And so that opportunity is for you to save money. And that's why a lot of people love to come to Southeast Asia. It's much cheaper than many countries. And so, especially retirement age people, if they only have a check of $1,500 or $2,000 a month, then it's going to be tough to live somewhere like the U.S. on that, or Europe. Some people can do it, and they do. They just figure out ways to do it. Just like people come here and they cost them $2,000 a month to live, and they say, "How do you live on 1,000. How do you live on 1,500? I can't do it. I need 2,000. That's life, man. At home, do you have friends that have incomes of ranging from 2,000 a month to 20,000 a month? Or do you know people? Yeah, of course, right? People live on pretty much what they get paid. Maybe they save 10 or 20%, but most people's lifestyle goes up with their income. They don't get a $10,000 check and try to live on, $2,000. Some people do, if they want to retire early. There's a movement called FIRE, Financial Independence Retire Early. You can Google that. Some great channels out there that teach you how to live on, half or less of what you make. But most people don't. They've worked hard their whole life, and they want to enjoy that big check they're getting. And so, but that doesn't mean other people can't do it. Doesn't mean other people can't figure out how to live on less than half of what you do. So when you go overseas, you may not be the guy who can live on 1,000 or 1,500 a month. So you have to come see for yourself what kind of lifestyle you're going to be willing to pay for. Just because it's possible doesn't mean you can do it. So you have the three things. You have the local food. You can learn to love it, because it really is one of my favorite foods in the world. But you need to waddle your way through the confusion. And by the way, we have on our reports for each place we visit, we have our favorite restaurants, what our favorite dish is, and what we paid for it on a Google Map link, so you can go and just eat the same food wherever you're going in the world, where we have reports, and that'll save you some time. And we have the neighborhood's really important. There are people that, they'll come somewhere like Da Nang or Nha Trang, or who knows, Vientiane Thiên in Thailand, or Koh Samui, and then I'll meet them somewhere else, and they'll say, oh, I didn't like Da Nang, I didn't like Koh Samui, I didn't like Vientiane Thiên. And I'll say, well, where'd you live? Like, what were your cross streets? And often they're just some weird place. They got a good deal and on their hotel rate, but then they have to take a taxi every day for a 20-minute taxi to get somewhere interesting. No, pay a little more for, we give pretty good deals where we stay. Not going to be the lowest, but go somewhere like that, because we're going to be focused on neighborhood, because we want you to have a good time. So anyway, but we head to Bali in a few hours, and I just wanted to show you why the Vietnamese are in such great shape. It's food, it's taking care of their bodies, and it's ingrained in their culture. Their parents come out and teach their kids, and then watch the locals. What are they doing? What time of day are they out? Where are they? And try to get in that rhythm, because they've spent centuries developing these rhythms that are consistent with the environment they live in. And so be a student when you go to a new country. I like to say, some people go overseas and they say, why do they do it this way? We do it better in my country. Why don't they do it this way? But that's called, you're a teacher. You want to teach other people how to live right. But when you travel, I recommend you at least try being a student instead of a teacher. Kind of get your nose down in the dirt, watch on what's going on with the locals, and at least try living the way they live, doing what they do. See if it gels for you, because they're experts at their country. If somebody shows up from, you name the country, and they come to your town, and they rent the cheapest hotel in town they can find, and then they start walking around, do you think they're going to have as good a time as they would if they knew you and came and stayed where you said to stay, and went to your restaurants and went to do the stuff you like to do? They're going to have a better time. So anyway, we're going to Bali today, and we love Vietnam, and we love Bali too. Actually, people say Bali's too crowded. Bali's too crowded. You can't go there. No, they say the traffic's terrible. You can't get anywhere. It takes an hour and a half to get anywhere. Well, guess what? We don't get in cars. When we go to Bali, we go to 𝗂𝗍𝗄𝐻. We stay in the central part of 𝗂𝗍𝗄𝐻, and we walk to our favorite restaurants. We walk to all the stuff we love to do. We don't get in taxis. We don't. We rarely rent a scooter even. We'll rent maybe in a month. We might rent 1 or 2 days so we can go see waterfalls, or they have beautiful day places you can go with, the beautiful swimming pool, nice music playing, view of mountains or a waterfall or something. We'll go to those kind of places, and we'll show them to you. And then we'll go down to the beach for a long weekend or whatever. But we never get in a car when there's traffic. That's just stupid. Plan your day around the traffic. Go at 1 o'clock in the morning if you have to, and then stay on your feet. Don't get in a car and go everywhere. Just live somewhere that's near shit you want to do. Don't go far out and then have to, jump on a scooter or car for 20, 30 minutes that only take you 22 minutes to walk, and then wonder why you're in a car all the time and you don't like it. So just adapt. But anyway, Bali is amazing. It's still beautiful. And so in a month, we might get in a car 3 times or 4 times. Once to do like a waterfall tour, and once to go down to the beach for a 4 to 5 day weekend. But mostly I like to stay up in the mountains where it's cool, and the prices are a little cheaper up in 𝗂𝗍𝗄𝐻 than they are down on the beaches. So we'll show you all that when we get to Bali. But we love Vietnam. Look at this place. It's amazing. All those people out on the edge are swimming, and maybe 10% of them are still out there swimming. Most of them are already left for home, and they're getting ready for work. Anyway, it's a small world. Jump on a jet, go check out the world. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Let's see if I can figure out how to shut this off.